Hello friends, AmyR here with Prairie Paper and Ink, back with another Christmas card, this one very non-traditional, and I'm using some new products from Studio Katia. And I started off with some just very light mint cardstock, and this really cute this is the Playful Dots stencil. So I've got the stencil, I'm just holding it on the cardstock. I'm not going for perfection. I just want a pretty soft background. So I'm blending some of Simon's Positively Saturated Ink in Spring. So just, again, a light sort of mint color with my blending brush. So just going over the stencil with the ink, not going for, smooth blend, anything like that. It will fade back a little bit as it dries on this cardstock. And then at first I was going to use the Snowy Magic stencil, which is also really just kind of cute and whimsical. I was going to use it with a darker shade of green, but then I was like, ooh, how about some sparkle? And then I was like, crap, do I actually have sparkle paste that isn't dried out? And I did. I've got the Gina Iridescent Glitz glitter gel, which this container is old. I don't even know how old it is. It's probably a couple years old. I can't even remember the last time I used it. It was forever ago. This is proof. I keep saying it when I use paste. Press and seal. Seriously. Press and seal, man. Especially with glitter paste. Because glitter paste, it's just the nature of the product. When they start to dry, like when they dry out, they'll turn hard as a rock. You cannot fix that. You can't refresh it. Trust me, I tried. But it's just like the nature of the product. So if the jar is sealed really, really well, it will last a heck of a lot longer. Especially jars like this, like they're nice with their wide openings, but again, a bunch of air gets in there. If you want to be extra careful, you can press and seal like right into the paste, like right up so that there's zero air at all. I haven't ever bothered doing that, but that is another option, especially if you have an issue with your paste drying out, before you get a chance to use them up. So the paste worked. I was super happy. I washed my stencil immediately because, again, glitter paste, it turns into basically cement when it dries on your stencils. No fun. So I washed it, set it aside. It's all good to go. And then my other little main accent on these cards and kind of what expired was this ornament shaker die set. It's super cute. So cute. And I love that the little center snowflake part is separate. So it gives you some options. And I'm just using my little Gemini mini die cutter here, and the folder is completely warped. I use these folders until there is absolutely no life left in them. They're super warped. It's kind of a pain to deal with. I don't even care. I'll still keep using it. So I die cut some white cardstock with the ornament and the little centerpiece. And then I die cut some light pink cardstock. And I just taped those two wafer dies together with my Spellbinders tape. It's just easier than having to line it up a couple times. So I've got my two ornaments, and you could just use them as is, or they look really cute too to like back them with a contrasting color or some glitter paper. Glitter paper would look amazing. But because it was meant to be a shaker, and I was like, got all these little shaker elements, let's make shakers. So I took the snowflake portion of the die out. So I'm just using the border, basically, like the wafer die as is. And I'm going to die cut some acetate. Now, die cutting acetate is a finicky process. Doesn't matter what type of acetate. Right now I'm using Simon's heat resistant acetate. It doesn't need to be heat resistant, but this stuff is thicker. So when die cutting acetate, you definitely want to put like either some copy paper or some cardstock under it, because again, acetate it is not easy to die cut. One like this, just a fairly simple like circle shape, was pretty easy. I still had to use my scissors a little bit. But if you want to die cut like finicky shapes with acetate, you're in for some difficulties. It's just the nature of the product, So I die cut those two windows. And like I said, I could have, instead of using acetate, I could have die cut like glitter paper. That would have looked gorgeous. You could back it like that, but I wanted to do shakers. So I used glossy accents on the back of my cardstock ornaments to adhere them to the acetate. I like using glossy accents when adhering to clear products like acetate packaging, etc. Because if the glossy accents oozes out a bit, you're not really going to see it because they're both, the acetate's glossy accents. You know what I mean? Depending on the shape. So a lot of times I prefer using like what I call a dry adhesive, like red line tape, those sorts of things. But I wasn't going to sit and fiddle and try to apply, you know, a dry adhesive all around the perimeter. I was like, glossy accents for the win. Another option would be, if I wasn't always flying by the seat of my pants, was I would have run the white or pink cardstock through like my Xyron machine, or backed it with Simon's like adhesive sheets, then die cut, peeled off the backing, stuck it to the acetate. That is also a really good option. I think of those things after. So that's why I mention them to you guys. There's so many options out there. So anywho, I backed them with the acetate, put them under an acrylic block to let it sit for a while so that the glossy accents could dry and they'll be good to go. And then I have the inside of my card here and the Snowy Magic stencil again that I had cleaned all the glitter paste off of. And I'm just using that spring ink and just lightly blending it again over this stencil. I've used my Post-it tape to mask where the score line was so I don't ink past that. And then I just lightly blended that. And I'm working on my Waffle Flower stencil mat. You guys are going to see my little backgrounds like change a lot because, yeah, I'm changing everything. New website, new camera, new filming setup, discovering different work surfaces I've had piled up here for years and years and years until I figure out exactly how I want things to be. So I'm working on my stencil mat. Love it. And I've got my like glass media mat under that, because I love that too. Although honestly, because it's cold in here, my glass mat gets cold. Oh, the ridiculous things I deal with. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that as well. And I have links, as always, to everything. The stencil mat, the glass media mat, all of that stuff. So for those little ornaments, I die cut some matte gold cardstock for the little ornament topper. And then I use glitter cardstock for the actual little hanger with the bow, that little die cut, which is super cute. I don't know what it is. I was just like, this is adorable. I love it. So I die cut those pieces. I adhered the topper to those ornaments. And then I took a piece of darker pink cardstock and a sentiment from the new Bright Wreath stamp set, which is also super cute. As I'm doing this voiceover, I haven't filmed a release and review yet. I am planning on filming that as soon as I'm done this like editing. It's a small release, but it's super cute. Want everyone to see it. So I will hopefully have both videos actually go up at the same time. That is the plan. We'll see. Anyway, used a sentiment from that little set on this darker pink cardstock. I just had it in my mini Misty. I used my anti-static powder tool. I inked up the stamp with clear embossing ink, and then I coated it with gold embossing powder. I'm going to melt that with my heat tool. So it just ties in with like, I had just this idea in my head of like mint, pink, white, and gold. I was like, that is just such a fun little color combo for Christmas cards. And I'm probably going to revisit this color combo again because it's fun. I love it. So while I had my mini Misty out, I put the inside of the card in there and another sentiment from that same little Bright Wreath stamp set. And I'm going to ink that up with Simon's watermelon ink and stamp that onto the inside of the card. So I've got my cute little whimsical Snowy Magic background and the sentiment. And then for these ornaments, I could have created them as standalone shakers because I could have cut another backing piece with the outline ornament wafer die and, you know, sandwiched it in with foam tape. But because I was adhering these on top of something that I've stenciled with glitter paste, I just wanted to create the shakers directly onto that. Plus, it's cute when you can see through the window to the background. So I'm using Studio Katia's foam tape. There's foam tape strips, and that's what I used. I went with the 1/8 of an inch thickness. If I was to redo this, I'd use the thinner stuff. There's a one that's 1/16 of an inch thick, much thinner. And that's all I would need because the shaker elements I'm putting in this are extremely flat and thin. So again, if I was to redo it, I could do thinner. This still doesn't matter. This just creates a bit more bulk. This foam tape is really super sticky. All Studio Katia's foam tapes are, which I actually personally really like because it ain't going anywhere. So I peeled the backing off of it, which makes it flexible. So I went around and covered the backs of that with the foam tape. And since I don't have backs on those, I have to put my little shaker elements like directly on the card base, which is fine. And I'm just creating 2 little piles of these Gold Fever discs. This was part of their new release, all these little like iridescent discs. So they're just completely flat. They're not even like confetti, you know, that will have those little raised edges. Again, whatever floats a person's boat, anything would work. I'm a fan of the discs because they're great for like flat shakers, that sort of a thing. And these ones are like, they have like speckles and holographic reflections, and they just make me happy. So I put those in, pop my little ornaments on top, and then the glitter hangers, I just adhered with craft tacky glue. Put a little bit of glue on the base, like where the little bow is, and then a little glue at the top, and just held that in place until the glue dried. And then I'll just trim off the excess with my scissors. And then the sentiment I'm going to pop on with more of that foam tape. And then I decided to add more of those discs, just kind of sprinkled around the card front, just to bring in more of the gold. Plus, again, they're cute. So I sprinkled those around the background. Once I was happy with that, I'm going to adhere those into place with little dabs of the craft tacky glue. Just pick them up with my little embellishment wand, press them into place. And then the card front is complete. Once that's done, I'm going to adhere that to my card base again with craft tacky glue. So adhere that into place, and then I'm going to pair this card with one of Simon's metallic cotton candy envelopes. So everything's matchy and super fun. And yeah, I got this cute little whimsical ornament shaker card with glitter and bling and all the fun things. So yeah, it shakes. Got to include the shaky noise, you know. I even turned on my flashlight just to show more of the like bling and glitter, because why not? It's just fun. And like I said, I will have links below the video to my blog post. I will have links to all of the supplies I use. That will be in the description box below the video, as well as on my new website, which is linked below. You can always find everything I use directly below my videos. You just got to expand the description box, and I've got them all there for you guys so you can find the things I'm using. And thank you as always so much for watching, thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't. I very, very much appreciate it. And I will see you all very soon in the next video. Bye.